Good morning and good afternoon. Hi, everyone. Come on in. I know that last email reminder just went out, so I'll talk kind of slow at first. Let everybody get in here. So, hello and welcome to our free training about reverse mortgages. It's called Reverse Mortgages, Essential Wisdom for Notaries. My name is Bill Soroka, and I'm your host today, along with my good friend and certified reverse mortgage professional, Nina Penny. I'll do a more formal introduction here in a minute, but I first want to set some expectations for today's call. So first thing, as I usually do on these online trainings, I'd love for you to turn your cameras on so we can see your smiling faces. Tony, Marcia, Renee, thank you. Appreciate that. It makes such a difference to us as presenters, but also for the rest of the notaries around the country on today's call. But of course, if you're not in a position to have your cameras on, or you should not have your cameras on, please don't sweat it. Don't do it. Thank you for those who are able to do that. Now, as I mentioned, there are notaries from around the country on today's call. So I highly encourage you to use events like this to connect with each other. There's a lot of power in having a peer network that you can lean on for support, for education, and of course, for referrals. So let's test this out. Now, Holly and Rosalie have already done that. Please say hello in the chat, introduce yourself, and tell us what state you're hailing from. I'm going to go ahead and start sharing my screen while you guys do that. Is anybody going to come in the chat and play with us? There we go, Roberta. Thank you. All right. Here we go. Texas, California, Washington, Ohio.
Ohio,
Nice. There's some
California,
Florida
Florida,
and Colorado. All right. There's Pennsylvania.
Pennsylvania,
All right. We got all the coasts covered, I think.
New York.
All
I love
right.
New York. I'm a New Yorker. We should get along great.
Love it.
Someone
All
will
right.
get my
So,
sense of humor.
yeah, Wisconsin. I love it. Okay. So, while you're at it, if you have ever completed a reverse mortgage loan assignment, type a 1 in the chat for me. And if you have never had a reverse mortgage loan signing, type a 2. Let me see what kind of group we have today. Oh, all right.
Oh boy.
Interesting.
Oh boy, Bill. This is going to be fun.
Yeah, that's great. You're going to learn a lot today. A pretty diverse group. I saw lots of ones there in the beginning. Yeah, Herbert says he thinks he did an application. Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit about that today too. So for me, these reverse mortgage appointments were among my favorites. Sure, they took longer. I had to print on a lot more paper, but I loved working with these signers, not to mention the passionate professionals that work in the reverse mortgage industry, some of the coolest people you'll meet. And I'm really thrilled to be able to share these reverse mortgage opportunities with you today. In this training called Reverse Mortgage Essential Wisdom for Notaries. So this is going to be a very, let's call it a broad training that's going to include first some information about the senior demographic and why it might be worth your attention right now for lots of reasons, but in particular for reverse mortgages. And then we're going to share some of the problems and even the crisis that many seniors are facing right now. And we'll describe exactly how reverse mortgages help solve those problems, which is why so many financial advisors and professionals use a reverse mortgage as a solution for their clients these days. And because we know this can be an intimidating topic, my friend Nina, she's an expert on the subject, and she's going to walk you through and have some fun explaining exactly how reverse mortgages work. And then we're going to get into a little bit of the history to see how they once had a little bit of a negative reputation in the 80s and how they overcame that through consumer protection and regulation. And then, of course, the best part is that we're going to explain exactly how notaries like you can be a beacon of light in this process, helping more people and earning more money per appointment through reverse mortgage loan signings. And we'll also show you what to expect in these appointments and why you make such a big difference. And then, of course, at the end, we're going to share with you our very popular already certification program that Nina and I created and how it's housed now in High Performance Notary. We'll invite you in at the lowest price it will ever be again, and then we'll open this up for questions and answers. So if you have any questions about how these loan signing appointments work, or how and where to get business, or even if you're on today's call and you're wondering if a reverse mortgage might actually be right for you in your own situation, we have Nina Penny right here, so you can ask those kinds of questions too. So let's jump in and get started. My name is Bill Soroka. I started out as a loan signing agent, like so many of you, and I screwed up pretty bad along the way, not knowing what I was doing. And then I was completely inconsistent with my marketing. So my phone often went quiet, and I almost went out of business. A lot. My mobile notary business was almost my 27th business failure. But then something happened. I started embracing habits and routines. I started doing my daily dues, which was simply reaching out to prospective clients every single day. And things really changed and started to turn around for me. I went from scraping by at $1,000 a month to easily clearing $20,000 to $30,000 a month. And then I packaged up my exact system and I created a course called Sign and Thrive. And that's how many of you got to know me, through that and the YouTube channel. But through that program and others like it, like the Certified Notary Trust Delivery Agent Program, the World of Apostees Certification Program, of course, the Certified Reverse Mortgage Signing Professional course, and 5 notary business books, I've taught thousands upon thousands of notaries how to build a business that thrives even beyond loan signings. And one of the amazing teachers that has helped make that possible is Nina Penny, and she's going to lead you through most of today's training. Now, I met Nina at a reverse mortgage signing where she was the loan officer. And this was my very first one, so I was nervous as can be. I had absolutely no idea what I was doing with reverse mortgages, but I did know how to dance around a loan signing. Even if I didn't understand every single document, I was used to that. But this was different. But I was still good with people. I was able to maintain customer service. But the real gift of that particular appointment was that Nina Penny was there. And she cared so much about her clients and making sure that everything went smooth and efficient that she showed up to the signing appointment and without judgment helped guide the process and guide me through that. And after that first appointment, we had a couple more. Eventually, we struck up a friendship. And then this is us on vacation in Palm Springs several years later. But then Nina fell victim to my 2 favorite words. What if? I told Nina that these reverse signings were so intimidating and that they're so misunderstood in the notary community as well as the rest of the country. What if we could create a training program that helped elevate the reverse mortgage closing experience? What if the notary knew exactly what the product is, how to navigate the documents, and then help these appointments close smoothly and efficiently? And of course, she said yes. And since that fateful date in 2017, she's helped teach thousands of notaries how to embrace and understand reverse mortgages and the customers that come with them. And that's Nina's passion, which is why I've admired her most. Once you work with her, you're going to see why her clients love her and how she strikes up lifelong friendships, even with many of her signers and clients. So if you would please, in the chat, help me show some love for Nina. Everyone say hi, hello, or heart emojis, whatever you're comfortable with in the chat. And let me welcome Nina Penny.
I'm just checking out the chat, Bill.
Make sure they're on it. Yeah, there you go.
Ah, yeah, there we go. What a great way to start off a Saturday morning. My dogs don't even give me this much loving. They give me a hard way to go. Great. Thank you, everyone. It was a great opportunity to meet Bill, I have to tell you. And who would have ever thought, like 8 years later, here we are. Right?
I can't even imagine it. Yeah, I can't believe it was 8 years ago. When did that happen?
Bill, I didn't even know. I'm glad you know. I would have guessed. I don't know. I didn't think it was 8 years. I thought it was maybe six. There, sure is what I know.
Well, there you go. And there's Nina.
Doing the head tilt must have been thinking about one of my dog that used to do a head tilt all the time.
Yeah. Nina, what else would you say about yourself?
I started doing reverse mortgages in early 2000. I didn't know anything about them. I had a friend of mine, his wife was looking at getting a reverse, and he said to me, hey, Nina, what do you know about reverses? I said, what? I said, I don't know. Let me check into it and I'll tell you. And I started doing research on them and reading. I mean, so much out on the internet that you can find and read about. And, but digging through all of the stuff, going to the basic or the guidelines and the government aspect of it and the changes over the time, I really couldn't find any reason why it wouldn't be good for him. And so, he called me up like 3 weeks later. Hey, what do you think? I said, I'm still investigating it, but I don't see anything wrong with it. And finally, it was about a month and a half later, I called him up and I said, Bill, I can't see any reason why it's not a good product to use. And he said, I'm so glad you did, because she started the process. I said, okay, great. And after all that, I had a friend of mine who knew, and that I was researching it, said to me, well, now that you know it so much, why don't you just start doing them? And I did. And making a transition from traditional loans to reverse mortgages, takes time, but nowadays I absolutely love them. And I do forward loans, but it's not the same. I love the reverse mortgage. I love them.
Awesome. So let's get in and start talking a little bit about the growing senior market.
Okay. So most people, and right now there's about 10,000 people who turn 62, 10,000 people a day who turn 62. So it's estimated this year it's going to be about 4.5 million people turning 62. Now, with that being said, let's consider this. People work their whole life, hopefully putting money away to retire. So one thing I've learned recently is that making the money is the easy part. Figuring out how you're going to take that bucket of money and make it last for who knows, a question mark amount of time is the tough part. And people always feel like when they start to retire, do I have enough money? No matter what you see or commercials, they always say, do I have enough money to retire? And that is the biggest concern. Nobody wants to run out of money. So the only way when you retire that you can have more cash is either eliminating debt, mortgage payments being the biggest, usually is the biggest expense somebody has, or getting more income, which means going back to work. And, nowadays we see more and more people having to go back to work. So, a reverse mortgage is really great for that. So these are, the senior market, we have inflation, we have a cost of medical, we have all these things now coming up. And a lot of people, unless they're making a lot of money, don't really think about long-term care. What happens if? Usually, if you don't have a job, if you're not working, you don't have a long-term care plan. So that's something you have to pay for. It's almost unaffordable to get it in any time in your 50s. It's so expensive. It just you can't do it. A lot of people think about aging in place. They love their homes. They raise their kids there. They want to stay there. They don't want to have to move. How do they make their home suitable to stay there forever? We all know that getting older, can't step in bathtubs, right? You gotta modify. Sometimes it means making doorway largers, bathroom remodels, kitchen remodels. It can take everything. And then, of course, there's people that maybe think, okay, I'm going to go into, um, I want to go into retirement with no mortgage payments. They work very hard to pay off their mortgage. Well, now they have all that equity building in their house. But you know what? They have no cash because they spent a lot of their cash trying to make double payments on their mortgage. And so that leads this, house rich, cash poor concept. However, I don't really know if it's so drastic to say house rich, cash poor, because I mean, you could have a lot of equity in your home and still make a payment on it. And just the normal day to day cost of things can definitely, eliminate a lot of money. It gives a whole new concept to that phrase. And as you know, you've all seen Tom Selleck on his commercial talking about house rich, cash poor concepts. So those are some of the concerns facing the seniors today. Okay, so you know what? Let's just chat a little bit about how reverse mortgage can solve these things. So, number one, when we eliminate a mortgage payment, so let's say, Bill has a home and he owes, $100,000 on it, and this mortgage payment is 1,500, and we're just going to say, Bill's taxes and insurance runs out to be about $300. Well, what a reverse mortgage will do is the first thing is we're going to eliminate that mortgage payment. So it's a loan. A reverse mortgage is simply a loan. We're going to pay off. He's going to refinance. We're going to pay off his primary mortgage right now. And that will mean that he no longer needs to make a mortgage payment. He can if he wants, but he will have an additional $1,200 every month, right? That's his mortgage payment, principal and interest, positive cash flow. And that probably will help him out a lot. He'll just be obligated to pay taxes and insurance. So right there, he's increasing his income. He can eliminate debt if he wants to pay off some of his debt that he might have from credit cards or something with the money. He can also just leave the excess funds he has available to him in a line of credit as a safety net, an extra bucket. So maybe today he doesn't need the money, but let's say maybe in 5 years he's going to need money. He can leave the money sitting there for when he needs it, which is a beautiful thing. Some people want to take the money and they want to modify the home so that they can age in place. That's another great reason why people are doing it. So a reverse mortgage allows them to use the equity that they've built up in their home and have a wonderful life and not have to worry about a monthly mortgage payment or this or that. They can really have a really nice lifestyle and still enjoy their house 100%, right? They can refinance and use a reverse mortgage to eliminate their debt and eliminate a mortgage payment every month. However, they still get the same luxuries and not giving up any bit of their house. So they still get to enjoy the whole home as they were before.
Yeah, excellent. And I think right now, Nina, I'll stop sharing the screen and you can give them a demo of how these reverse mortgages work.
Okay, great. I want to apologize if everybody's heard the landscapers. They normally come on Wednesday. This is not Wednesday. This is Saturday.
No, we can't hear anything.
You can't, wonderful. And you
You
know what?
get to
I'm ready.
enjoy that.
Yeah, yeah, no kidding. And I'm very happy about it. The dogs did not hear it either. I just know I heard it, and then I just saw the guy walking around the yard. Thinking, here's my house. I'm going to show you how it works. So we have two very different programs. Okay, we have a reverse mortgage, and then we have a reverse mortgage for purchase. We're not going to talk about the purchase side of it right now. We're going to just talk about doing the reverse mortgage. I'm going to tilt my screen. You may not be able to see me that great, but you'll see my house. It's a beautiful house. Even though it's 2 stories, yeah, even though it's 2 stories, it's not conducive. Most people don't want to live in a 2-story house when they retire. Why? Because they find themselves living down here. So we're going to get down there. Okay. So this is my house. Let's say I've worked all my life. I've made, payments. I've worked very hard and I own my home free and clear. Okay. I'm just going to use the free and clear for an example. No, let's say I have $100,000 on my mortgage left. I just switched it up. I went from being house rich to now having a debt. Okay, so let's say I own $100,000 on the house. Okay. And I'm looking at a reverse mortgage. My monthly payment is, let's say, $1,200. Okay. So what happens is, let's say I fill out the paperwork, I do all that, get the process started. Okay. Number one, let's say the house is worth 500,000. A reverse mortgage is not equity stripping, so you can't do 100% financing. So for a number's sake, I'm just going to use 250. Okay. So we're going to use a 50%. I'm pretty old in that case, but we're just going to say it's 50%. So I had eligible to me $250,000. I owe $100,000 on the house. So here's how it works. The lender is going to pay $100,000 to my present mortgage company. Okay. Boom, paid. Guess what? I have no more mortgage payment. I have a reverse mortgage now with a loan balance of $100,000. But I have $250 available to me. So right now, we just paid off that mortgage. I have $150,000 at my disposal. Right? So this $150,000 is like a line of credit. Okay. Interest does not accrue on this money until I use it. We can talk about other things about what this $150,000 will do for me. But just to show the example of how it works, we're going to just keep it very simple today. Okay, so I have $150,000. It's sitting at the lender's bank, just sitting there. Let's say everything's going good, but let's say, oh, you know what? My air conditioner went. All right. Oh, there goes my air conditioner. I don't have 10 grand. So I contact the lender. I contact them. I let them know I'm filling out the form that I need $10,000. All right. Now, from this $10,000, they're going to pull out of my line of credit. So if I had 150 in there, I now have 140. The $10,000 that they just sent me, poof, it goes over there. It's now a debt, right? So now it's a debt. They gave me $100,000 to pay off my mortgage. They just gave me $10,000 for the air conditioner, right? That money that you see me flying over there, that is now my debt. Interest is accruing on my debt, but I still have 140. Guess what? I don't have to worry about some high interest rate or anything like that on that air conditioner. I don't even have to worry about it. I had a problem. I solved it. I still have 140. I have peace of mind because right now, if something happens in my home, I have a safety net. Now, during this time, I don't have to make mortgage payments. I can if I want, but why do I, right? I am enjoying the benefits of my home. No mortgage payment, everything's going along just fine. Living my life, my best life. Let's say in 5 years, guess what? This 2-story, it's killing me. I never go upstairs. I don't even know what it looks like anymore. Right? I don't even know what this upstairs looks like. I haven't been up there in years. My knees are shot. Trust me, they're already shot, but I can't get up there. And my son says to me, Mom, it's time that you move. Got to get a single level. I said, okay. So we have realtor comes, realtor says, hey, your house is worth, let's say $700,000. Okay, let's sell it. Now, house sells, I get my offer for $700,000. We're going to closing. Here's how it works. This money that I threw over here, remember this money? It was $100,000 for my mortgage, right? And I took out $10,000 for the new air conditioner. So I owe the lender $110,000 plus the interest. All right. So I owed him $110,000. Let's say, just for argument's sake, the interest over the 5 years I lived there is 40,000. Okay. So now I owe the lender 150,000. We sell the house for $700,000. What happens at closing? The 150 goes to the lender. We pay them off. The extra cash, we're going to minus out, the fees for closing and the real estate agents, but all the extra money, guess what? It comes to me. So now I pay off 150, sell for 700. The rest of the money belongs to me. So what do I do now? I'm going to take this money and I'll buy my next house using a reverse mortgage all over again. And that is the concept how it works. As you can see, it's going to eliminate a mortgage payment. That's going to increase cash flow to begin with. Anything extra will sit, it's your money how you want it. You can, take it at closing. You can leave it in the line of credit. You can say, oh, I'd like a payment for life. Depending on how much it is, it might be substantial, it might be very little. Because we don't know how long anyone's going to live. So basically you can figure if you have $100,000 in there, you can pretty much divide that by 144. And that would pretty much give you your monthly payment, which is not much, but it can sit there for when you need it. It's your money. Whenever you need it, you can tap into it. You do not accrue interest on this money. You only accrue interest on the money that we borrowed, that we actually took. This money, the money I have available to me, stays until I need it. No interest is charged on it. It is just there for me. That is my peace of mind. This is the money, maybe someday if I need in-home care, this is the money that's going to help me later. It's my peace of mind. We all need it. I mean, if you can imagine, we all know that maybe if we work, we put a little bit of money aside for that rainy day, right? Well, when we stop working, guess what? There's no more putting money away for a rainy day. Those days are over. So you can never have enough buckets or enough rainy day money. But a reverse mortgage, believe it or not, can offer a lot of people that opportunity. Bill, do we have a little time to talk about my next home?
Yeah, you want to do the purchase?
Yeah, can everybody hear me okay?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
can?
Yeah.
Great. They're like blowing now.
No, we can't hear anything. Yeah.
I thought they were gone. And then all of a sudden now they're out there with the blower and I can't even hear myself. So I hope this is all making sense to everybody. Okay. So I sold this house, right? And now I'm going to buy my new house. So let's just imagine this is just now a single story. I'm going to just prop this up. Okay. So it's a new house. I absolutely love it. Let's say after everything, I have $500,000 left over from the sale of my house. Okay, after we paid off the mortgage company, we did all that. Okay, I says new house now. I have $500,000 cash. My new house is only $400,000. Now, my option to buy this home is, hey, I could pay cash. And I can still have $100,000. That's pretty damn good, right? We all love that. But then they call me up, or I call them up and I say, hey, why don't you buy a new house using a reverse mortgage? They say, I didn't know you could do that. Oh, yes, you can. And they say, okay, explain to me how it works. This works a little bit different. Okay, so they want to buy this house. It's $400,000. Okay, I have 500. They run the numbers based upon my age, the value of my home. So let's say it's $400,000. Let's say I have to come in with 200. Once again, I'm only throwing numbers out there. It's mainly from my memory because I'm getting older and my memory is not that good. So I'm using 50%. It's not that the numbers aren't that good, but it just keeps me in line. Okay. So new property is 400,000. I'm told I can buy the home using a reverse mortgage, but I need to come with 200,000. I do. So out of my money that I have here, I take $200,000 and they bring it in at closing. Okay. Consider this like your earnest money or your down payment. Okay. I'm giving the lender at closing $200,000. They're giving me a mortgage for $200,000. Now, I had 500. I just gave 200 for this. I still have $300,000 in my
And no mortgage
pocket.
payment.
In my pocket, no mortgage payment.
Mhm.
Just as good as paying cash. Better because I have more money. So here's my $200,000. Now, how this works, I need to grab more money. Hang on, grabbing more money here. I'm living in my house. I'm loving it. I have no mortgage payment, right? I get my Social Security, and I have this little safety net that, you know what, my own cash, if I need it, it's there. Every month, whatever is accrued in interest, okay, on $200,000, I don't know, let's say whatever it is, okay, let's say it's $500 a month, okay? So my loan balance is 200. Every month, $200,000, if it's, let's say $200 a month, okay, every month, my loan balance increases by the interest, okay? My principal amount that I borrowed now is increasing because I'm not making any mortgage payment. My principal balance, which is the amount of money I borrowed, stays the same, but the interest is added out now on top of that. Okay, so every month that I don't make a payment, an interest payment, it's just accruing over there up until the time that I pass or I sell the house. Now, I'm going to give you an example. I'm living in the house, I'm having a great time. Unfortunately, I passed away. Okay, I'm gone. So I love Bill. Everybody knows how much I love Bill. Let's say I love Bill so much, you know what? I'm gonna leave Bill my house because I love him. So I'm like, Bill, you're my will. You can get my house, you're my heir. And Bill's like, just what I need, a headache. Thanks, Nina. But okay, so I'm gonna leave Bill my house, right? I'm gone now. And Bill's like, okay, what are my options? So here's Bill's options. In a normal market, let's say everything's doing good. My house is now worth, let's say, 700,000, right? And let's say I owe them $300,000. Okay, just round numbers. Can you hear it now, Bill?
Nope.
You're kidding me.
Mm.
Okay, so let's say altogether now I owe $300,000. The house is worth 7. Bill says, well, what's my options? Well, he can sell the house, pay off the lender, and all the money will go to him. Or he can say, 300,000, you know what? That would make a great rental property. So he can actually pay the lender $300,000 and own the home and keep it, whatever he wants to do. Or he can elect to sell it, pay the lender off the 300,000, and the remaining balance goes to him. And that's how it works. No trickery. Bank never takes the house. Let's just say that now we're in a down market. This is probably may not happen again, but let's just say we're going back to 2009. Let's say this house that I paid $500,000 now for, and I owe 300,000, but you know what? Bill's like, well, I guess I just give the keys to the bank. Somebody says, no, Bill, you can refinance that house for 95% of the appraised value. He says, okay. So he goes and has an appraisal done. Appraisal comes in at $100,000. Bill's like, can I take a loan for $95,000 and get the house? Yes. That is called the 95% rule. You'll never owe more than the value of the home. And as an heir, he has an option to refinance it or get it from the bank for 95% of the appraised value, or he can just give the keys over to the deed in lieu of foreclosure. Those would be his options.
That's pretty amazing.
You know what? That is a showstopper for most people.
Yeah.
Because, back in the old days, we're going to talk about misconceptions. I don't want to give anything away, but
Yeah.
this is pretty much kind of how it works. So people think that, my heirs aren't going to get anything. But first of all, like you could see kind of in the numbers, it's not 100% equity. We're not giving them dollar for dollar. Most people right now on a reverse mortgage on every dollar getting 36 cents, on a loan concept. So we're not stripping equity.
Excellent. Great demonstration, Nina. Thank you for that.
You're welcome. I know everybody always loves the money. They want it. They can't have it.
I want to see that in the briefcase. Here, I'm going to start sharing my screen again, and
Okay.
we'll talk a little bit about just the real quick overview of some of the qualifications for a reverse mortgage, just to
Okay.
simplify the process here. Oh, Nina, you're muted out there.
I am landscapers right by the door.
Okay, we can't hear it. You have noise canceling microphone. You have a good mic.
Oh, great. I didn't even know that.
Well, I can go over this a little bit too, though. Maybe you just listen in. So,
Okay.
this is available to homeowners 62 and older with home equity. And there's
Oh,
some that go a little lower than that too, right, Nina?
down to 55. Yes.
Down to 55. It converts a portion of the home equity into a tax-free cash. No monthly mortgage payments are required, although you can make payments if you want to, as Nina said. The loan gets repaid when the borrower moves, sells, or passes away. But this is important, and this is one of the misconceptions we'll talk about. The homeowner actually retains the title and the ownership. So let's talk about those misconceptions a little bit. Nina, you want to go? Hold on.
I would love to.
How that all started. Here's a little timeline to show how it worked.
So, yeah, I'll give a quick history of it. We're going back down to 1980s. Well, okay, let's go back to the beginning. It was actually a little bit before that. Reverse mortgages were created by a bunch of people, I think in Maine, to help out a former teacher of theirs who had passed away. The wife owned the home free and clear. She had no money coming in, and it was a mess. So basically, how reverse mortgages used to do was that they gave people money for their homes and went on title with them. And then let's say when the house sold, they owed more than the house is worth. So what they would do is they would go after the heirs and send them a 1090. What bill's that? 1090 something.
I don't
Um,
know. Yeah.
for whatever amount of money it was short. And the heirs were like, what is this? And so it was very unpopular. And basically it caused a lot of problems. Also between that, they also dabbled in the early 80s, they also dabbled in something called shared equity, which meant that the bank went on title with Bill, and they co-owned it. And then when the house sold, if there was a profit, guess what? They split it with Bill. Okay, it was shared equity. So these two concepts were really, there was a lot of complaints. There was a lot of problems with it. There was no getting around it. When Ronald Reagan was in office, there was a slew of lawsuits of just horrendous things going on. So what Ronald Reagan did was he sent this loan program to HUD and said, do something with this. So what they came out with during his time period, he came out with, it's basically an FHA loan. You're not obligated to make payments on it, but you can if you want. There's mortgage insurance, just like an FHA loan. And that mortgage insurance protects the borrowers and the lender. It protects the borrowers for that. You know what? If you have money sitting in a line of credit, they will never cut it like they do with a home equity loan, a second mortgage. They will never go after your heirs because this is now a non-recourse loan. What does that mean? You'll never owe more than the value of the home. These were the biggest changes. However, you know what? It was very hard and still is very difficult to get people to understand that this product is not that way anymore. Then we had some other problems. Back in like the early 2000s, what happened was that we were doing reverse mortgages. And let's say you know, Bill and I are married, which I use the example of Bill a lot. You can see where we're going now. So Bill and I are married. Bill is 65 and I'm 60. And they say, well, yeah, you can't do the loan because at that time in the early 2000s, you both had to be 62. If you weren't, well, the workaround was that a loan officer would say, well, Bill, you could do the loan in your name. And when Nina turns 62, just make sure you refinance and put her on it. It was like, all right. So that's what a lot of people did. Well, do you think people remembered to put their wife or their partner on the loan? Do you think that people forget? I wouldn't have remembered. So you know what? We're living, having a great time, la 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 la, and then Bill passes away. Guess what? That loan is due. Bill was the only one on the loan. He was the only one on title. He just passed, and guess what? The loan is due. And back in the early 2000s, we did not have reverse purchase because that's kind of what it would have been, a purchase, because I wasn't on the original loan. Caused a lot of problems. That problem of people, one spouse being younger. I mean, it came into really big problems more about 2013, which was about 10, 12 years after. It was so blatant that there's so many problems that actually HUD made an exception to the rule. They grandfathered all those people in because it was really, numbers were coming up that there were so many people who were losing their homes because of this. So what HUD did was they grandfathered all those people in so that nobody had to worry anymore. They were not getting thrown out of the house. And what they also did now is they said, okay, let's say going back in time, Bill was 65, I was 60. Nowadays, what would happen on the FHA loan, we would base all the numbers on my age, considering the fact that Bill's going to, kick the bucket before me because he's older. So today, what we do is we always run the numbers on the younger person. You might get less money, but it's a safeguard against for me that I won't lose the home. Now, you might say, if Bill is 65 and I'm 35, could we still do it? Yes. But once again, we're going to base the numbers off me being 35 years old. And probably Bill won't get very much money. We won't get very much money on the reverse mortgage, but, at least it's a safeguard that I'll have someplace to live. In that case, because I'm not 62, I would still have the benefit of living in the house. I would not really have access to go pull the money out myself, but I could still always be guaranteed a home, which is a big, good safeguard. Yeah. We do have products now that go down to 55. So you know what? If Bill and I both wanted to do it, we could go get one of those products as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we have a couple of safeguards I might have forgotten. Cap on fees. Oh yeah. Do you mind if I go into these, Bill? Thank you.
Yeah, please do. Please do.
Okay, so here we go. So a mandatory counseling. Everyone that gets a reverse mortgage has to do counseling. Okay, has to do counseling. And basically it's to make sure that all parties getting the loan are competent and that they understand that there's interest accruing on the loan, that they have to also understand they have to pay tax insurance. The bank is not doing that. It's a non-recourse loan, which means that they do not go after the heirs. We did talk about that. If there's a shortfall, if you owe more than the home is worth. Cap on fees. So the fees on reverse mortgages, unlike other fees where you could charge kind of what you want, these are pretty much safeguarded. We cannot charge more. As a matter of fact, if I quote a fee and then they go up, I end up having to pay it. Okay, so we do have caps on fees. You just can't charge what you want to charge on it. You know what? They're all pretty well restricted. There is a financial assessment to make sure that, you know what, when this is not a Band-Aid, I mean, a lot of people think, oh, reverse mortgage is a Band-Aid. It's really not a Band-Aid. We do have to make sure that people show willingness and capability of paying their taxes and insurance. It's a safeguard. We don't want to risk anybody losing a home, because one of the ways that you could lose the house is by not paying taxes. So we need to make sure that people have enough income to pay the taxes, insurance, HOA. And those are the safeguards that we have now for seniors on all reverse mortgages.
Awesome, Nina. Thank you so much for that. Excellent presentation and understanding of this. So you can see, guys, why reverse mortgages are increasingly gaining popularity. They help solve very practical problems for seniors. And with the consumer safeguards in place, they trust this financial product even more than ever. So that's why every year you're going to see somewhere between 16,000 and 24,000 reverse mortgages closed throughout the year. Some years I've seen as high as 33,000. And that's why the industry really needs you when you're trained in the reverse product. Like when you really understand what the product is intended to do, how it helps seniors, and what the process and the documents are like. You can literally change someone's life with a better understanding of this. And then, of course, you have this entire industry, and I think Nina can agree with this too. There's passionate professionals that just love this product and what it does to help people. And when they realize that you care like they do, they start to trust and rely on you to take care of their customer. Because here's the thing, you, as a notary, are very oftentimes the only human being that signer or applicant gets to see in person throughout the entire reverse mortgage process. Because not all loan officers are like a Nina Penny, where they go to their own closing appointments. Some lenders are in a different state, so they don't even have a loan officer in their state. So it's not even an option. So understanding what it takes, having the extra patience and the compassion to build in that extra time that it's going to take to do these signings successfully, and to reassure the signers that this is a normal, valid process, it brings tremendous value to the marketplace.
Bill, do you mind if I chime in for a second?
Yeah, please do.
So yes, I do attend my signings. I try and go to all of them. And I will tell you that I've had some very bad experiences with notaries, and I've had some that have absolutely loved it. And it is really an amazing thing that when I find people that come and do the signing that enjoy it and enjoy being with the people that they're signing, and realize, a lot of times they'll say, this is a godsend for me. This is going to change my life. Or sometimes we do traditional signings where people are buying a home, like, oh, we're so excited, but it's different when you sit with people and they realize what a difference this is going to make in their day-to-day living and their happiness. And
Yeah.
I think that's really a big thing. And then lastly, I just want to add this. It's Bill's right. Sometimes you are the only face that they'll see. And as a loan officer and loan officers that I know, we work very, very hard to get these deals done. Sometimes working with seniors, I'm sure we all know it's not the easiest job in the world, but we all want the standing ovation. And a lot of times, no matter if the process was rocky or they had a great experience, the most beautiful thing is that if I can't be there, I have a notary that is wonderful and gives them a wonderful experience and actually puts that cherry on top of the sundae for me. I love the whipped cream and I love the cherry.
Love that.
The ice cream, I don't know, I could take it or leave it, but the whipped cream and the cherry, to me, are the best parts about the sundae. But the bottom line is that you guys may just think of it as another job opportunity or a way to increase your income. Yes. However, a lot of times with these people, when we can't be there, when a notary comes in and they're compassionate and they enjoy being there with them, it is we hear about it and we love it. And it's a standing ovation. I love to hear it. I'll call a notary and tell them, thank you so much for making that experience wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. I love that you take the time to do that. So, in addition to that, and Nina kind of touched on this. So, here's a few things that you can expect at a reverse mortgage loan signing. It's definitely going to be more paper. Some of these signings have 200 or 300 sheets of paper, and you might have to print out 2 copies. And for other reasons, these appointments take a little more time as well. Obviously, as just said, there's more paper, so there's a lot more signatures to gather. But also, you're going to be working with seniors that might have some muscle or joint conditions that slow them down with their signature. It might take a little more time to read some of the important documents. So we always recommend that you block out at least 2 hours for these types of appointments. And I think then the really best part of these, especially if you love working with people, is the stories, especially if you know what to expect and you build in the extra time for it. The stories you hear are so interesting. I've met the most interesting people at these reverse mortgage signings. They've got stories and photos that are fascinating. In
And
fact, there's
cookies.
the cookie, exactly. The only time I break my rule of not eating food and drink that's offered to me is at a reverse mortgage signing. I've had the best cookies, tamales, turkey sandwiches, delicious food as I listen to stories and work, right? We got to move the signing forward, but you might as well have a delicious snack.
Yep. I had a
Um,
lady one time, she said, do you like tuna fish sandwiches? I said, I love tuna fish sandwiches. I said, I used to have them all the time as a kid. That with the Canada dry ginger ale. She goes, I have that too. And she made me a tuna fish sandwich. I mean, it was just a great experience.
I love that. So if you came into this business and you truly love being with and helping people and learning from people, reverse mortgages can be rewarding in those ways too. And of course, for all those reasons that we are talking about here, because of this, you deserve to earn more per appointment. And now with companies that understand this process, and when you work directly with either an escrow company that specializes in reverse mortgages or with a lender that specializes in reverse, you can command higher fees, especially with the training that we're about to tell you about. You should be earning somewhere when you work direct, $200 to $300 per appointment. Now, if you go through a signing company that's either not used to reverse mortgages or maybe their client isn't used to reverse mortgages, they may at first try to lowball you. They may suggest, and I've seen these offers come through, $60, $100 for a full reverse mortgage. But I want you to know that the economics of that doesn't add up. You can't print 600 pages, travel and spend 2 hours with a client and be profitable when you're being paid $60. So if you get offers like that and it's a full reverse mortgage buyer package or refinance package, it would be absolutely acceptable to counter offer. You don't want to counter offer the entire fee, right? This is part of the trade off when you're working with a signing service. The signing company gets to make money too, but it needs to be a win for you considering how much time and how much paper you're going to print. You can counter at 150, 175. Nina was just telling me that in Phoenix, they're doing 195 through signing companies, and that's decent and acceptable.
That's mine. I don't, you know,
Yeah, Nina
I don't, yeah,
has a small signing company too, and she hires you guys.
yeah.
This is why I advocate for escrow direct business. When you find a lender or an escrow officer that specializes in reverse mortgages and they know that you're trained and passionate to help their customers, they're going to stick with you and they're
Hmm.
going to pay you what you're worth. And one of the other cool, unique features of these mortgages is that very often notaries are called to help facilitate the application process as well. You know, many of the seniors that want to actually apply for a reverse mortgage don't have the technology training. So they don't can't just jump online and fill out an application and start the process. So some of these lenders will actually hire notaries to go out and gather signatures on the application. There's usually no notarizations included, but they just want you to gather those signatures, gather any additional paperwork that the borrower needs to submit, print out the application, that kind of stuff. And those typically pay somewhere between $80 and $100. But what makes those appointments so valuable is that you get your foot in the door and you get to start building relationships with the lender and the escrow officer, of course, but also with that signer. If you strike up a relationship and they love working with you, just like Nina said, they talk about you, and that lender is going to want continuity in the transaction. So if you came for the application, you did a great job, there's a really good chance that you're going to get hired for the closing as well. So that right there automatically increases the lifetime value of that customer for you. So let's talk about if your next steps. It takes a really special kind of notary to embrace and enjoy reverse mortgages. So if this calls to you, we're ready for you. So your next steps would be to enroll in the Certified Reverse Mortgage Signing Professional Program. And don't worry, we made that extremely inexpensive for you. Once you're inside and you get trained and you get certified, you get access to a list of reverse mortgage lenders and reverse mortgage title and escrow companies that are helping to process those 16 to 33,000 reverse mortgage closings every year. These are lenders and title companies that specialize in reverse mortgages. They're passionate about the work they do, and they love working with notaries that are equally as passionate and trained. And because certification is only as valuable to the marketplace as when it gets implemented, we included this program in our high performance notary community so we can give you the marketing support, the templates, the guides, and the coaching to position yourself as a reverse mortgage specialist. So here's what it looks like to be inside of High Performance Notary. The first thing you get is access to the full Certified Reverse Mortgage Signing Professional Program. And inside that course, we do deep learning about reverse mortgages, their history, and we'll go much deeper than we went today. You'll understand the misconceptions of the public and some of their concerns, and then we'll go deeper into the consumer protections that are now in place. And then we also get very intense on the document training. So you're going to get to see an entire loan document package. You can even download it for practice. But we're going to walk you through the different documents there so you know exactly what to expect, because there's some weird nuance to these reverse mortgage loan signings. So we'll tell you how to briefly describe them, which ones to be looking out for, and which ones they include sometimes for no apparent reason. And then, of course, we'll show you how to gather the signatures and properly notarize where you're supposed to. We'll also walk you through not just the loan documents, but the application process. So you can bring even more value to these client relationships, and you get both sides of the transaction with both the application and the closing. Then there's a comprehensive 50-question test. There's no stress, no pressure on the test. You can take it as many
No,
times as you want. We are more concerned that you understand the reverse mortgage product and then the customer over anything else. So take your time with it. But when you do pass, you get a digital badge and certificate that's super easy to share on social media and in your email signatures or on your website. And that's something that you can be really proud of. And then, of course, we don't just abandon you and dump you out there. We have a weekly continuing education call with Nina, where she keeps you updated on the reverse mortgage industry. Every call is different, but she gives you maybe a couple lessons on what it's like to actually get a reverse mortgage. Then you might get some scenarios about different types of things. And then she's also available to help you with any questions that you might have about the test or anything else along those lines.
can I just chime in, Bill?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So yeah, we do a weekly call, and I think it's we talk about news about reverse mortgages. I also, talk about forward loans or traditional loans as well, about the market, what's going on in there. And we talk about ways to create business. Me, I'm a loan officer. I need to get business just like you guys do. I can tell you, of course, dealing with people and being in the industry, I know um, who to go after to get some business. And so I think I think we have a good time. We have a good turnout. People seem to enjoy the call. And, if people ever have a question, they bring it, or if it's something, they can always reach out to me. For some reason, I'm pretty easy to find. I think I get my number out on every call.
Yeah, easy to track you down for sure.
No kidding.
Yeah, I love that call. So you're always connected. But then also, we really focus on implementation, which is why we put the course in high performance notary. It's the largest notary community on the school platform with nearly 800 members right now. So this community will help you answer the question. So I'm certified. What now? What are you going to do every day to get yourself in front of the right people who might hire you for these reverse mortgage signings? So not only do we give you the comprehensive list of the reverse mortgage lenders and those title and escrow companies, but we give you the framework and a strategy so you can do daily marketing really on any specialty you want. But if it's the reverse right now, we've got it. And it's all built into the high performance notary action plan. So the high performance notary action plan is a super simple 9-step plan you focus to keep you focused so we can help you choose what your annual revenue is going to be. Then we're going to choose which specialty you want to focus on. Like in this case, maybe it's reverse mortgage signings, which is perfect. Then we help you build the prospect list with those lenders and those title and escrow companies and other sources as well. Plus, we'll help you create a referral list and your contact list so we can build out your network. Then we do the daily do's, the 8 daily prospecting habits that keep you in front of potential clients and boost your online visibility. So when they need you, they can find you for these reverse mortgage assignments. Then we have our weekly planning session where we set weekly goals and priorities and make a plan for implementing them. Every Wednesday, we check in together to see how progress is going. Then I'm available for questions on your plan or your marketing or your overall marketing strategy. Plus, I offer a monthly class on how to leverage ChatGPT as more than just content and social media posts, but more as a growth partner where you can bounce ideas off of it and build out an entire strategy for your year. But the real power is the community of 800 members. It's one of the most highly engaged communities full of love and support and sharing ideas that you'll ever see on the internet. It's not just another Facebook group. It's a powerhouse learning institution focused on implementing your learning, no matter where you got it, and focuses on getting the results that you want, the results you've wanted in your business from the very beginning. And everything that we're talking about today is available for just one low monthly price. It's super simple. $49 a month. It includes everything. The certified reverse mortgage signing professional, all of the support, all the high performance notary action plan framework, and a few other really cool bonuses too. So we include nearly all of the courses that I've ever created, right? So I've got the Sign and Thrive loan signing course, the World of Apostille certification course, the Get Known strategy, which is a social media content development program. We've got the search engine optimization course, and then we're really excited about the Google Business Profile Mastery course with Jim Allen. It's all included on there. And of course, with this certified reverse mortgage program too. I give you all 5 of my notary business books, and we offer a lifetime listing on reversenotary.com, which is a special directory that some of these reverse mortgage lenders and escrow companies use to find our graduates. So it's literally everything you need to get in front of your customers, open doors, show your qualifications, and get hired, as well as boosting your online visibility, all with structure, support, and teachers along the way. There's no contract, no commitment, no obligation. Stay as long as you find value in this level of support and community. Here's what I tell people. I know the course is exciting. I know some people just like to get the course and get out. That's all they want is the certification. That's fine. But I want you to think about coming for the course, get what you need, and stay for the support and the structure. So this doesn't become just another piece of paper that sits in your inbox or on your wall. If you're like so many other notaries and you've struggled with staying consistent with your marketing, that's what high performance notary can help you solve.
Hey, Bill, can I chime in?
Absolutely, please do.
I'm sorry, it seems like I'm always interrupting.
No, you're great.
But
It's perfect.
so this is something that's kind of interesting. For before I did mortgages, I used to work for a sales trainer by the name of Tom Hopkins. If any of you know who he is, he's old school, but he was a big real estate salesman, and I worked for him. So of course I was like a student of his training, and we had to go through a lot of different instructors, not just Tony Robbins, but I mean, everybody, every trainer that was out there, we kind of had to know what they were doing. And so that really helped me with my sales technique and somewhat. I mean, but when Bill moved over to the school and he's like, hey, come check it out. Come on, Nina, check out school, check out the mastery. I was like, all right. So, me, I have to do it when I'm quiet. And as I was watching it, I said to Bill, it's like freaky deaky. It's like he took all the years of the sales training that I got, that I remember, that probably I still use. He's doing it. And it was just really weird. I mean, and I wouldn't say this, it really wasn't true. Anybody that knows me, I'm not like that. But I was really blown away by it because it really did incorporate, like if I was to take all my years in sales and what made that worked for me, being very passive and non-confrontational, it it really, a lot of things that the school course offers, the mastery course offers, is something that, what, I use to get successful. And guess what? Now that I'm relatively successful, or on my way there, or still climbing, I realize that how much of the stuff I'm not doing anymore.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just whatever. I wanted to tell you that because I know I mentioned it briefly. I need to spend more time on there, but just because I'm upset with myself and not keeping up with it, I'm, just like everybody else. Don't want
Yeah,
to deal with it.
exactly.
I don't want to deal with it.
Exactly. Yeah. No. Well, and that's the thing. The structure and the support is all about just setting up structure and support habits.
Mhm.
It's
Yep.
sales 101 stuff, guys, that has pulled me out of every hole that I've fallen into of failure. It is get in front of prospects that will hire you, reach out,
Hmm.
build relationships, and then boost your online visibility so they can find you when they need you.
Hmm.
That's it. We overcomplicate it,
Yep.
but that's what the system in high performance notary will do for you. And we've got some great questions here. So let's jump in and take a look at these real quick.
Okay.
Wonderful questions.